Hi everyone, welcome to the Witching Week. Today is episode number 68. Today we are talking all things March and spring. We'll be looking at Ostara, the spring equinox. We'll be looking at spell work and ritual themes, activities you can do, and a host of other topics. So grab a cup of tea, put some incense on, get comfy, and we'll explore the Witching Week. Hi everybody, welcome back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. First things first, welcome. If you've never watched an episode of the Witching Week before, hello, my name is Wren. I'm known as the Cemetery Witch, and each week, well, we try to do it each week, we get together and we discuss the witchy, pagan, seasonal topics of the week before and the week to come. I did actually miss last week again. I'm so sorry. We have hit an extremely busy period. There's a lot going on in the background that I can't tell you about just yet, but we do have some announcements to come. And also I went off to say goodbye to my wonderful, beautiful godmother last weekend. So I decided rather than do a rushed episode that we would just delay it and I would catch you up this week on everything that's been happening. So first of all, tea and incense. What am I drinking and burning today? Well, actually, I'm on the lime juice today. So this is like half a lime squeezed into a glass and then just water added. So it's like squash really. You can't really do it with lemon, it doesn't work. You can do hot water with lemon, can't you? And then maybe a little bit of honey. But lime, it's really nice. It's like drinking squash, but without the sugar. I've gone for that today because I feel quite thirsty. And we are burning some Satya Champa incense. I'll be honest, I cannot really tell the difference between this and the Nag Champa. Maybe there's a slight difference. Maybe this one's not quite so strong, but it's really nice anyway. It's really lovely. So yeah, last week I went back down south for my godmother's memorial. She was a keen horse rider. She was, despite being 70 this year, she was a drummer in a band. Well, it's her birthday in July, so she hadn't quite got to 70 just yet. And we gathered for her local pub night, which she used to play at. She used to play the drums at, kind of a bit of a rock night, and we all gathered in the village hall. So it was really, really lovely to see everyone, see family members I hadn't been in touch with for a while, and to say goodbye to our lovely Sal. There was also a floral tribute at the church that she liked to help out at. I would say she was definitely a pagan, she was definitely a witch, but she didn't use those terms. But she used to be very active and involved in her local community. I know that she used to try and introduce some concepts into the church, so especially when it came to things like harvest time. But I know that she was often shunned by the elders as being a little bit too sort of like new age perhaps. So yeah, it was a really, really emotional, beautiful evening. I was absolutely exhausted by the end of it. I slept like I was in a coma that night, which is surprising, but it was just really good to have that opportunity to say goodbye to an absolutely amazing woman. And I think they raised a bit of money on that night as well. There was all her jewellery. She absolutely loved jewellery. There was her huge collection of jewellery where people could take a piece and leave a donation for charity if they wanted. So that was really, really nice. What have you guys been up to since I spoke to you last? Have you been busy? Are you getting ready for the spring equinox? We're well into March now. Does it feel like spring to you guys? It has been very, very changeable here. I think we've had, since March began, we've had one or maybe two afternoons that have been really, really lovely. But otherwise, it's been quite cold the last week. Today it's misty, it's damp, it's grey, and I think that this weather is set to continue for quite a while. We always have that like fake spring, don't we? It's usually in February. Usually it warms up for a week, like really warms up for a week, and we all think, yay, we're out of the winter, and then boom, it hits you again. I think some people have even had snow. On Saturday when we went down south for my godmother's memorial, we had some business that we had to go down the sea to in Glastonbury. And on the way down on the M5 we went through some really heavy snow where it settled, it was thick, and the snowflakes that were falling were like absolutely massive, but it was just a patch. We drove through it and then it was just rain and drizzle again. So the weather's been pretty miserable here. What about for you guys? Has it been warm enough to get out in a t-shirt? That's what I think of when I think of spring, but actually spring is still usually pretty cold here. It's not as sort of, I mean, it's uplifting because it's lighter, it's brighter, there's lots of flowers out, the daffodils are in full bloom out and about, absolutely beautiful, but people are still walking around with hats and scarves and coats. It's really not as nice as you would think, but maybe it is where you are. Maybe you don't have such harsh weather as we do here, and we don't even get the worst of it either, do we, compared to places like Scandinavia. But yeah, it's been very changeable. And of course we have Mother's Day coming this weekend, the 10th, Sunday the 10th. It seems like that's really early this year. I always think of Mother's Day as being a bit further along, but maybe not. I'm probably getting confused with the spring equinox. So that's in just under 2 weeks now. That falls on Wednesday the 20th at 3:06 a.m. That's the point of astrological equinox. And this one is known as the Festival of Spring. So by this point, we have definitely entered into spring. Some people consider it the first day of spring. Other people consider that we're into spring proper, and this is a celebration of that. Some people consider the first stirrings of spring to be at Imbolc. So it falls down to the individual person really. And of course this is a point of balance. Equinox means equal night. Equal and night, and so the day and the night will be roughly the same length. We also have the equinox, which is the exact point of equal light because of the equator and how our planet is positioned. That you have 2 different days. You have equinox and equinox. But anyway, this point of harmony, balance, and equilibrium, yes, that's there. But once we go past the equinox, so you know, even a minute past or a day past, this point of balance has been tipped. So equinox is a tipping point really, or is about to be a tipping point. It's a liminal point in the calendar, and that means we will have more hours of daylight than of darkness, which is really exciting. So this is, I think, why many people feel like this is the beginning of the year rather than January or rather than Samhain. It's a time of fresh starts, rebirth, renewal. The sun is burgeoning. We are getting more and more light, more and more warmth. We are definitely in the active part of the year. And the festival after Ostara, of course, is Beltane. And then the one after that is the summer solstice. So I actually find, like I was saying a couple of weeks ago, I find this time of the year really quite strange, because it feels like the darkness goes on for a long time. Actually, the light will go on for a long time. But I think because we kind of like finally emerge from the darkness and then boom, Ostara, Beltane, Litha, it kind of feels like it's over a bit more quickly, even though we could have hot weather right until September. I mean, we look at last year and we had 20 odd degrees, didn't we, in October, and we were away for our 10-year anniversary and it was hot in October. So yeah, this is a very strange time, I feel, in terms of the energy, just in terms of what's ahead. We seem to like gather pace really quickly. We go from Imbolc to Ostara and then boom, we are thinking about the summer and starting to enjoy the summer and celebrate the summer. So in terms of activities, I mean, this time of year, it's like decorating the altar. It's kind of fairly easy to work out the things that we could do and use. In terms of activities, spring cleaning, that's a very common one. We're literally waking up at this time of year, and with that renewed sense of energy and purpose, often people like to declutter and spring clean and just make things feel really, really lovely. Getting outside, of course, as well is the other obvious natural one. It isn't so cold. It's not so wet all the time. We're seeing blue skies. It's a lovely time to get out and about and see what's going on, get some fresh air. Planning a fairy garden. If you didn't plan a garden over winter, this could be a good time to do it. You could create a fairy garden in a little corner of your garden or something. And spring planting as well. It's time to plant those perennials and hardy annuals ready for the season to come. You could build a bird feeder or a bug hotel. I'm struggling with my words today. I am very, very tired, despite a good night's sleep. Opening windows for cleansing the home. It's not so cold that doing that is going to make you feel really, really awful. I love using the element of air, especially for cleansing. And I think that the spring equinox is a really lovely time actually for cleansing. So cleansing and consecrating things like magical tools, magical areas that you might work within, and just cleansing generally. So again, going back to that sort of spring cleaning, that sort of decluttering and tidying and sorting and organising. Really, really nice energy about this time of year. Some people like to make their what they call their New Year's resolutions round about now. Many people see the spring as the start of their personal yearly cycle, and I can totally understand that, because if you're going to make a change or put something into action, why not do that at the point of which where you've got much more energy and you're much more likely to see that through and see results, which is going to keep you going. I think making New Year's resolutions on the 1st of January, at the tail end of December, it's a really, really dark, cold time. It's not a time for going on a diet, for example. Whilst I was really, really excited this year about a new year, just because I wanted to leave behind the last year, which was pretty awful for me personally, it's not really the time, is it, to make sort of lifestyle changes, you know, like getting out, doing exercise, changing your diet. In the winter, it really is a time to hibernate and to eat comfort food and to be warm and all those kinds of things. So this is a great time for doing all that kind of stuff. Something else you could do for Ostara or around this time of year, spring, is you could make an Ostara tree. So basically find yourself a really nice branch with lots of little branchlets, ideally one that has fallen, not one that you need to cut. You could spray it white or silver or even black. Display it in a big vase, and then you can hang little decorations to celebrate Easter or Ostara or whatever your beliefs are. So for example, blown and decorated eggs, which is another great activity you can do at this time of year, especially with the kids. And then you can change the decorations throughout the year. I have always intended to do this, and I have never quite had the time to get this project done. So maybe I will make that as a resolution, and I'll come back to you guys and show you my Ostara tree. But there's an awful lot on at the moment. Another thing you can do at this time of year is obviously that spring planting seeds. That could be physical seeds or that could be metaphorical seeds. I like putting seeds on the altar at this time of year. I think they're really nice and reflective of this active season, this growing season that we are going into. So you could write down some goals and some plans and some things you want to achieve for the next turn of the year. You could leave that on your altar. You could make those intentions. You could make some hot cross buns, absolutely anything that is considered seasonal at this time of year. Do it, bake it, create it, make it, eat it, drink it. There's lots going on at this time of year. You could think about giving something back to the earth. So you could do a litter pick. That's a really nice way to mark this time of year, I think, and to kind of like clear the garden. So where everything's died back above ground over winter, this is a really good time to sort of like clear away those dead bits of foliage, maybe pick up leaves and just get things ready for this season ahead. So it really is like a threshold, isn't it, of getting ready for something new. So clearing away energy, clearing away physical things to make room for new things. I really, really love this time of year. I can feel myself getting excited. I know some people feel like that in autumn. My husband does, but I really, really feel like that at this time of year. I feel like I'm waking up and I'm coming alive. And then I think about all the things that I can get done. And I'm definitely already much more productive. What about you guys? It's dark in our bedroom at 6:30. Which is roughly the time that I'm waking up at the moment. It's definitely the time that our alarm goes off. Sometimes I'm waking up just a bit before. And whilst it's dark in our room because of the shape of our house, it is light outside at 6:30 now. So it's going to be a little while, I think. It's going to be about 3 weeks, and then we have the changing of the clocks, don't we? It's going to be about 3 weeks, I think, before it's light in our room as well. At the same time, it's light outside, but that's coming. That's coming. Have you noticed a difference? There's definitely a difference in the afternoon, isn't there? It's now light and even sunny at sort of 4:30, and yeah, it's kind of still dusk around about 6 p.m. I would say. Not as dark as it would be. We're definitely through the darkest part of the year now, and I believe that it won't be this dark again until about October time. So even then, well, no, I suppose it will be a bit darker, but that's what we're looking at now. So even though it feels like Beltane and Litha are going to catch up with this quickly, actually it's not really until October that we're really going to experience any kind of real darkness here in the UK. So yeah, that's miles away. We're only just into March. So I need to try and concentrate on the light half of the year being as long as the dark half, but it just seems like the dark half is longer. I don't know why, but this winter was good. This winter, because it was so mild and we could put our heating on this year, we could afford that. It was definitely made the winter a little bit easier this year. So spellwork and ritual themes for the spring equinox and the days surrounding it. So again, it's what we've just spoken about: balance, new life, rebirth. We would also look at the god and goddess in their youth, if deity myth is something that you're into. We would concentrate on themes of light overcoming darkness and also the gods coming of age. That's where we're at in the story of the goddess and god. The god is coming of age, and then the next step is Beltane, where obviously they will have the greenwood marriage and you know, the sexual activity surrounding that. So he's just coming of age round about now. This is a good time for spells on success, prosperity, positivity, positive affirmations, and that growth aspect of things, almost like a waxing energy, that growing, that getting bigger energy. So if you are starting something new and you want to grow it, this is a brilliant time to concentrate on those sorts of workings. And then you could double up on that. You could use the waxing moon as well. So this is a brilliant time of year generally for just growing things. And when we look at the psychology surrounding witchcraft, there's obviously that age-old conversation, you know, is witchcraft actually magic? Does magic work, or is it just psychology? And I definitely think if we're more upbeat and more positive and more enthusiastic, that when we give that out into the world, we are then met with good things. So I don't think it really matters what the answer to that is, whether, I mean, obviously I believe that magic exists and it works, but I think that if witchcraft focuses your intentions and your enthusiasm and your energy, and it helps something be manifested, then so be it. But yeah, definitely it kind of makes sense, doesn't it, that we would achieve a lot in this time of year because of the energy that we give out to the world. So power flow for March, again, same themes: rebirth, renewal, growing, prospering, exploring. That's explorations of all kinds, whether that be spiritual or the literal physical, getting out because the weather's better and exploring the environment around you. I can't wait to have some nice days out, to go places, to be warm, to breathe in the fresh air, to be surrounded by other people, and just to be immersed in life again a little bit. This is a time about breaking illusions and finding the truth. And again, if you think of this metaphorically, we've been in the dark, so there may have been some shadows cast, which has created some illusions, and now we're moving more into the sunlight, the daylight, and we can see the truth of things. So yes, absolutely fantastic time of year. You can probably tell that I'm really, really happy that we are moving out of winter now. So yeah, a topic I wanted to talk about today, now we finished talking about Ostara and the spring equinox. I'm just straightening out my notes here because otherwise I will completely forget what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about daydreaming. How many of you spend time daydreaming? I know it's really, really hard to find the time. I used to do it a lot as a kid, and I think that is because my mum got us up at a set time every day. We were dressed, we were ready, we were organised, and I would perhaps do a bit of like tired daydreaming. I'd sit at the table and be looking out the window. But I also think that we used to daydream as kids, people of our age or older, because we didn't always have something to do. We didn't have a mobile phone, we didn't have Netflix, we didn't have Netflix on that mobile phone, you know, we didn't have YouTube, we weren't thoroughly, you know, entirely engaged all the time in something else. You know, we would get bored sometimes, and I think getting bored is quite a good thing because it means that you get creative. You get creative, or, you know, you spend time daydreaming, which is being creative in your mind, isn't it? And I wonder if any children do daydream these days. You know, do you have a natural sort of like proclivity to it? I know I do. I'm a daydreamer. I spend a lot of time in my head, but I would also say that I spend a lot of time actually achieving what I want to achieve as well. You know, I do end up getting what I've spent a long time visualizing. So obviously this can be good or bad. You have to be really careful where your thoughts go and where your energy goes. Where thought goes, energy flows. So yeah, I wonder if you spend time daydreaming. Are you quite a good manifester? For me, it's very much working on that astral plane, all that visualization, almost going into like a meditative trance while you're daydreaming. And I think it should be encouraged. I think when our children are daydreaming, it means that they are connecting with their higher selves, they are being creative, and quite likely they are creating on the astral plane. They're somewhere else. They're, you know, them cognitively, they are undergoing some processes that perhaps they don't if they're always busy being distracted with other things. And I believe apparently that children that get the chance to daydream and be imaginative in that way, they often have more empathy, because it means that they can imagine things, they can spend time thinking about things, and that makes them better at understanding and feeling for other human beings. And I definitely think we're losing that. I definitely think, like, I don't think I ever see any of our children daydream. I don't think I've ever seen it. I'm not sure that I've seen my daughter daydream either. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Are you a big daydreamer? Do you have children? Do they daydream? Is it something that's frustrating for you? I think my mum used to find it a bit frustrating, but then maybe she was trying to get me to do something and I just wasn't doing it. The only time I can really remember daydreaming is when I should have been getting ready for school, or when I was ready for school. And I think that was just a bit of an escape for me. I think it was a way that I kind of de-stress. I would kind of go into this daydream trance and I would be there, and that's how I would spend my time before setting off for school in the mornings. But I do remember her getting frustrated, so there must have been something that I wasn't doing. But yeah, maybe, I don't know if my mum watches or how often she watches, but maybe she can fill me in the comments underneath. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So I'm going to put up a picture on the screen now. Isn't this amazing? So this is known as the Veil Nebula. Now there are different parts that make up this nebula. There's the eastern part, the western part, and also a part called Pickering's Triangle. But this Veil Nebula is also known as the Witch's Broom, which is why I thought I would share it on the Witching Week. So 10,000 years ago, a light would have appeared in the sky, which would have gently faded away. And basically that was this supernova, which you can now see the remnants of, this supernova that exploded, or maybe the supernova is as a result of the explosion. I don't know, I'll have to check that with my husband. Yeah, I think, anyway, this star was 20 times bigger than the sun, and the area that this now covers is 36 times the area of the full moon. So very, very beautiful. Space is not my strong point, so please don't jump on me in the comments. I realise that your language has to be really, really specific when you are talking about these sorts of things. So a supernova, I think that just means a big star, but maybe it means what's left after the explosion. I don't know, maybe it is the explosion. I'm sure someone will fill me in. Anyway, this is from the constellation Cygnus. So it was just something that I came across in the week. I don't know too much about, but I just wanted to share because it's really, really beautiful. So yeah, the Witch's Broom. So leading on from stars, I want to read you a little passage from A Year of Pagan Prayer. And this is it's called Father Mars. And it's from De Agricultura, and it's basically a prayer, and it is written by Cato the Elder and translated by Barbara Nolan, who is the lady that put this collection of verse and poetry together. So I thought this was really, really nice. This is for March. This is for, well, the way this book works is that some things are specifically pinpointed for like the beginning of March or the end of March. It's all classical sort of pagan bits and bobs basically. And this is just for March. So this is a prayer for the weeks ahead and the months ahead. Father Mars, I pray and beg that you be kind and merciful to me, my house and my household, that you keep away, ward off and take away sickness, both visible and invisible, barrenness and bane, destruction and unseasonable influences. Let my harvest, my grain, my vines and my farms grow and flourish, and grant health and strength to me, my house and my family. I think we might have had that last year, possibly, but I thought it was just worth revisiting. Really, really simple, really, really lovely. And I guess really that Ostara, the spring equinox, is a really great time of year for doing a house blessing. I know that some people do them in bulk. They call upon Bridget, they harness that returning light, and they sort of translate that into a protective thing. Again, like Ostara seems like a good time, doesn't it, to ask for a house blessing. You do spring cleaning, you open the windows, you cleanse the energy and the air of a place, you get everything ready, and then you ask for some protection and guidance. So I really, really enjoy that. So a couple of announcements. I'm afraid these are death announcements. You may or may not know the characters that I'm about to talk about. First of all, I read the other day that Tam Campbell had passed over. That was back in December, the 28th of December. And if you don't know who Tam Campbell is, he was a Gardnerian Wiccan. He was initiated in the 1970s, and he was a very active member of the witchcraft community, in particular the Children of Artemis, which is an organisation that you may or may not have heard of. It's the sort of major organisation in the UK, along with the Pagan Federation, of course, but it's specifically a witchcraft organisation. And you may well have heard him talk or seen him talk at a witch fest at some point over the last sort of 20 odd years. Really, really lovely chap. I was really, really sad to see that he had passed over. So yeah, hail the traveller. May you travel well, Tam. And then a couple of weeks ago, Another really lovely character who I had the pleasure of meeting for the first time last year, a chap called Ron Dudley Smith. He was one of the watchers or wardens of the Rollright Stones. So if you've ever visited the Rollright Stones and you saw a man with like a large camper parked who had photographs of the area and of dowsing, you might have even bought some dowsing rods from him. Unfortunately, dear Ron passed a couple of weeks ago on the 16th of February from a heart-related condition. So he was a lovely guy. He was a professional speaker on dowsing. He ran a page called Divine Dowsing UK. And he was just a really nice man. He was just a lovely man. He was 78 years old. He always used to joke that he was close to death, unfortunately. But he seemed fit as a fiddle from the outside, but you can never quite tell, can you? So yeah, lovely Ron has passed over. So I'm sorry if you've not heard that news before, and this is the first you're hearing of it, but I thought, you know, I would let people know we are losing a lot of people at the moment from our community. Of course, it's the winter, there are more deaths in the winter, but a lot of them are young people. Stu, for example, that we spoke about from Weird Raven a few weeks ago. I don't know what's going on at the moment, but all these wonderful souls seem to be assembling somewhere, they're being collected. So yeah, let's have a little thought for Ron. Lovely man. So next thing, oh yeah, I should have put this next to the nebula really, but the Aurora on Sunday, the 3rd of March, did anyone see it? I knew, I've got an app, so I get alerts, and I knew that it was going to be one of the strongest auroras that we've had in 20 years. So there's a lot of activity going on at the moment, which means that we are seeing them across the UK, down as far south as Cornwall and Devon, Stonehenge, for example, when normally we would be restricted very much to Scotland. I didn't go out. I was absolutely pooped. We'd had an absolutely hectic, crazy weekend with just driving all over the country for various different appointments and family get-togethers and things that we need to get done. We have got a lot going on in our personal life at the moment, as I keep alluding to. There will be some announcements on that soon, and also some work-related announcements. But yeah, it was just too much for me to get out on Sunday night. I really needed an early night. But I wanted to show you this picture from Dan Sotillo. He took this in Rossilly in Wales. I probably haven't pronounced that correctly. My apologies for that. But yeah, full credit goes to him. This is his photo, and isn't that amazing? I don't know if this photo has been enhanced too much, but he did say when he shared the photo that you could see the pink visibly with the naked eye. So absolutely amazing. Did you catch the Aurora across the UK on Sunday night? Did you manage to see it? Did you go out hunting for it but maybe didn't see it? One of the reasons I didn't go out is because around about the time when it started, we were clouding over, and we were clouding over very quickly. I got the main alert, I think about 4 o'clock, and it was still light then. And for us, the alerts, I mean, well, the app gives you the alert for the whole of the UK. So if you get a red alert, that means it's likely to be visible from anywhere in the UK. But of course you are restricted by your cloud cover, things like that. So those alerts continued. But what I can't work out is how some people managed to catch it when actually the alerts had stopped and we were on yellow rather than on red. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how that works. But anyway, people managed to catch it and it was absolutely incredible. So we've had a good year for the Aurora Borealis here in the UK. I did see someone had written earlier on that it's all man-made. I don't think I believe in that, to be honest. I think it's just with all the sort of like geomagnetic activity going on at the moment. And yes, I'm sure that could probably be recreated, but I think it's definitely just our weather conditions that are causing this. So yeah, a really good year for the Aurora. So talking of pink things, I wanted to show you what I picked up from the garden centre the other week. I don't think I showed you. So I'm going to show you, my apologies if I already have. All my days are just rolling into one at the moment. They are so hectic. But I picked up this. So this is a piece of quartz. I don't know, I don't think it's been dyed. It looks like it's like a low grade rose quartz. Now, if any of you are into minerals and rocks and geology and stuff like that, please tell me, is this a piece of rose quartz, or is it just quartz that they've dyed? Now, I spotted this in the fish department. So they had basically a crate of quartz, and it was just labelled as quartz, and it was all pink. And the way you purchase this is it was weighed. So this cost me £3.46, and it's really heavy. It must be getting on for a kilogram. I think it was like 0.8, but yeah, £3.46. And I thought I had like a major coup there, and I was like really, really pleased with myself for almost like beating the system. But then I received a box of items that belong to my godmother, and it's wrapped up in the box still at the moment because I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do with everything. But in that box was a massive piece of rose quartz, like bigger than this, proper quality. And when I saw it, I laughed because it was almost like Sally having a bit of a joke with me. You know, here's my £3.46 rock. The one that she has, well, the one that has been given to me, I don't think she sorted out the box for me. She knew she was going to die. It was sorted out for me by her sister and ex-husband, but I feel like she's had a laugh with me because it's like, no, this is rose quartz, and her piece must have cost, I don't know, way over £100. So I thought that was really, really funny and just typical of the kind of like interaction between people and spirit, and just the kind of thing that happens in my life. So I'm still really chuffed about this though. Look at it, it's still quartz, it's still pink, and it still only cost me £3.46. Right, time to do some cards now, because I think I've wittered on for quite a long time this week. It's probably less, but it feels like a long time. My cards have been so good. I've been consulting my cards a lot recently, and they've been giving me all the answers that I need. So yeah, here is an energy reading for the collective, for the Cemetery Witch YouTube community. Let's have a look at the week ahead, what might come up, how you might want to deal with it. Let's see. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to. I always love to hear. I always read them, even if I don't always get time to answer straight away. That one jumped out. We'll have that one. Okay, so we have 4 cards for the week ahead. We have the 9 of Wands. Then we have the 7 of Cups, we have the 6 of Pentacles, and we also have the 9 of Pentacles. So yeah, lots of Pentacles. There's been a lot of Pentacles recently, I think. But the message here is don't give up. You are so close to completion that you shouldn't give up. You might feel a bit battered and a bit bruised, and you can't really see the wood for the trees at this stage because you've been on this journey for a very, very long time. But the message is don't give up. Keep going, keep pushing. You're nearly there. You're nearly at a point of completion. Now, there are a couple of little warnings along the way, and that is all that glitters is not gold. So if you suddenly see an opportunity to rush through this process, something is beckoning to you and it seems almost like a bit too good to be true, it is. Ignore it. Keep pushing, keep working, keep grafting, and also just be careful of the energy that you give out. It's good to share with others, it really, really is. But for this particular journey, for this to get to completion, you need to be very, very watchful of your energy and what you give to others. So time at this stage to perhaps be a little bit selfish. You have nearly got to somewhere, and then when you get there, you will be able to share with others once you've completed. You'll be able to bask in the glory, you'll be able to reap what you've sown, and you'll be able to decide a little bit more sensibly what you can then afford to give to others. So when I say afford, I don't mean money, I just mean time, energy, love, whatever it is, but it's up to you to keep pushing to see whatever it is you're trying really hard at. It doesn't have to be like a work project, it doesn't have to be something that's going to make you money. It could be something within a family that you're trying to fix, but you are currently on a path and you're nearly there. You're nearly there. So if that speaks to you, then this message is for you. It won't be for everyone. Right, that's our reading done for the week. That's us done for the week. Yeah, really, really lovely to be back. I will try to be here this week. I'm getting better at organising myself in terms of my work week. It takes a little while, doesn't it, to settle into a new job. Like I said before, I have to do that job to be able to do stuff like this. So please bear with me at the moment. There will possibly be a big announcement towards the end of March. Not something that is going to affect you guys so much. It might affect some of you, but more me. And then into April, we are going to have some announcements for you guys. And then hopefully May is going to be something really special. I'm still slogging away in the background, trying to put things together, trying to juggle a million balls. And also obviously with my health as well. That was another reason why I missed last week. I was at the hospital and I had a cardiac event at the hospital while waiting for a cardiac appointment. So it wasn't my main appointment, it was to have a monitor fitted, but I had problems while I was there, which was really, really good in a way. It has kind of knocked things off a bit off course, because now they're focusing only on what they saw and not what is actually the major problem. My heart is doing lots of different things. But anyway, they've prescribed me some medication that I can't get my hands on anywhere. So I've not been taking it, even though they said it was an emergency. But there we go. That is the struggle with the NHS at the moment, which I do greatly appreciate. But yeah, that's where we're at. So the next few months are going to be really, really interesting. I've been threatening this since January. I'm still working on it, so you know, it is in hand. And yeah, cannot wait to see what the spring brings, all this new beginnings energy. Yeah, and I hope it's the same for you. I hope you're all well. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week on, I think it'll be episode 69 of the Witching Week. All right, lots of love. Bye.